Hello, Internet. My name is Mike. Welcome to the Ghostlight Social, the weird internet pub where we are talking to creators, people like actors, directors, casting directors, musicians, all while we're locked down in our little bunkers. This is my little bunker. Do you like it? It's a bit colourful because, I'm a cinematographer, so it's going to look good. With me in the bunker tonight, we have Lee. Say hello, Lee.
Oh, am I? Am I on? Am I? Is it on? Hello, everyone. It's obviously first episode. Slight technical issue, but glad a couple of people have joined us anyway. I think Heather's out there. Hello, Heather. I think Lucy's with us as well. Hello. Anybody else say hello? We don't know what this is. We've no idea. As you can see already, we're 12 minutes late, and we're making this up, making it up as we go along. But that's all right. That's okay, because we're all friends, right? And this isn't going to be slick. I'm not a TV presenter. Mike is better at this than me. He's got that YouTube patter. He's done this stuff before. I've just got a pen in my hand.
Guys? That's what everybody says, isn't it? What's up, guys? It's your boy.
What's up, YouTube? That sort of stuff. Right, are we ready to introduce who we've got? Because I want to get on with chatting to them.
Yeah, so we've got two guests tonight. We've got two actors. We've got Emily Golding and Stephen Donald, who have kindly given up their evening to join us live in the bunker. So let's, without further ado, introduce. Guys, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you. Looks great. Looks like a video.
I'm having a great time.
I tell you what, it's a terrible pop band, isn't it? Really.
I think really great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Apparently, Mike, I'm being told that there is a little bit of an echo going on. I don't know whether that's just for Lucy. Lucy's got a bit of an echo. So while I'm chatting to them, just have a look at that technical aspect, if you wouldn't mind. My Enact family. Hi, Alex. Hope you're well. Alex is going to come on soon, Steve. I've spoken to him today. He said he's going to come on.
Hi, Alex. Good stuff.
That's nice. I'm glad you're joining us. I feel like we're not just talking to the three. I'm not just talking to the three of you, although technically I am just talking to the three of you.
Let's face it, we have all been talking to ourselves anyway, haven't we, really?
Well, I suppose we have, yeah. On the 13, 1-3, Michael, 1-3. I reckon that's more people than watched my episode of Doctors. I reckon. Although that's going to be a popular program at the moment, isn't it? Doctors. I bet loads of people are watching Doctors, which is good because they're great. They're all great. Hello, Doctors, family, friends.
Well done to everybody who's working all those critical jobs. Thanks. I know a lot of people who are creative also have a bit of a sideline, and a lot of those guys do a lot of these critical jobs. So if you're watching and you're one of those, welcome aboard. And I hope we'll pass the time a little bit and take your mind off all that dog shit, really, because it's awful.
Well, it's not great, is it? Heather said that she's got a bit of an echo as well, Mike, so I don't know whether we just need to bring the volume down a touch on everyone, or me, I don't know, whoever. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer's joined as well. Hello, Jennifer. Nice to see you. I can't see you, but it's nice that you've joined us. Look, shall we, while you mess about with the sound, bringing that down a little bit, Mike, because I'm going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. Could we alter the audio levels, Michael, please? Oh, Ben's with us as well. Hi, Ben. Hi, Ben. Ben. Okay, brilliant. I'm going to ask, actually, can everybody, when Mike is talking with his, what he's described as a blue, colourful background, can you hear him? We'll wait for people to answer to that. Emma.
Hi. I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. Do I look at the camera?
Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
It's complicated. Yeah.
Am I at the moment? Who knows?
That is a very good question and a philosophical question. Are any of us actors if we're not acting? Steve, have a think about that. I'm going to ask you that question in a moment.
Oh, God.
Emma, have we got Emma's tutorial to play?
Oh, do we?
Right,
let's do. We need to.
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to
no.
we need to see you in all your glory.
Can
so
I
to
close
speak.
my eyes?
I don't think you'll see it unless
Oh,
you've
that's
got
fine
YouTube
then.
up.
I do not, no.
But you were due to be filming on Corrie, weren't you, at the moment?
Emmerdale yesterday.
Emmerdale.
Yeah.
Which of course
Yeah.
is gone. So what?
Sadly.
Just tell us about that. What's happening with that? Do you know?
Well, I thought I was still going to be filming. I think I got my contract through back end of last week, and then they just sort of sent another email going, "We're really sorry. We don't think it's a good idea," which was heartbreaking and yet very sensible. So, yeah, it's postponed until who knows when. So, yeah, I was really sad because I was really looking forward to it, but at the same time, I don't think it's a good idea to be like going and filming. And I mean, I went for a walk today and I crossed the street every time I saw somebody. It was like it's like road rage.
It's crackers, isn't it? It's crackers. Was that your sort of semi-regular, reoccurring, whatever you call it, character? Or was it a different?
No, it's the nurse.
It's
so
the nurse.
The nurse, which I was convinced that I had a name, and then I'm sure that I now don't have a name. So I'm nurse 8,800 and something, depending on the episode number.
But haven't you done this about 5,000 times now, and they still haven't given you a name?
No, this will be my 7th time. Although, so I was on. I don't know if this is. I don't know if I imagined this, but I was on with Joe Gill once. And
by the way, nice segue, because Joe's joining us on Monday, 8:00. We're going to try and sort this sound out before then. But Joe Gill, it's joining us on Monday.
I was on with Joe, and I had a name. I was called Nurse Judy. And I'm convinced that in the script he said my name. And then when I watched the episode back, he went, "Hi."
with no name.
But I know he said it. And I don't know how they'd done it, but they completely edited it out. And there was no cut. It's not like it went hi and then cut to something else. The just name had disappeared. And I was like, oh, it's gone. It's totally gone.
Magic.
So, yeah, magic. The magic of Canva.
Hang on. So do you think there's some kind of conspiracy that they're not giving you a name? Is that what you're saying? That they've deliberately said, you know, that Emma Lee Golding, forget that. We're not giving her.
They looked at me and went, "Oh, she doesn't look like a Judy. We'll have to get rid of it."
I don't know. I think you could get away with the Judy.
Well, they didn't think so, so it's gone. But no, it's nurse practical.
Okay.
Which is not very practical in this situation because I have actually no medical experience.
Which is why you're an actor. Because
yes.
You can pretend to have medical experience.
Yes. Some would say not very well, but yeah.
How are we doing, Mike? Can we show the show reel?
Yeah, I'm just queuing it up. I'm just also changing a couple of the window setups because I weren't appearing and I'd like to be on this quite a lot. So I've just redone like a few of these windows. Something reminded me today when I don't know what it was. Who the famous person is who I always think of subconsciously when I'm with you, and it's Ricky Gervais, but just
brilliant.
Yeah, I see that.
I was
once
in a cafe on Market Street in Manchester, right, and it was raining, and I had a Mac on, I had my hood up, and I had a backpack on, and I'm saying a cafe, it was Costa. I was in Costa, and I got to the till, and the girl behind the till, because I had my hood up and a backpack on, and she sort of looked at me and sort of like, and I looked at her back, and she went, "It's you, isn't it?" and I sort of thought, don't know about this, and she went, "Who do you think she thought I was?"
John Peel.
I wish. Although he's dead, so I'm glad I'm not dead.
Oh
yeah. I would say Jimmy Nesbitt.
Brilliant.
Is that his name, Jimmy Nesbitt?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So she went, "It's you, isn't it?" And I went, "What do you mean?" And she went, "Carl Pilkington."
Oh my God! Yes.
So what do you think my answer was? Yeah, yeah, it was.
Headlights
Yes,
you like an
fucking
autograph?
orange.
Yes, it is. And she gave me the coffee for free.
Brilliant.
Got
God,
my
I don't
coffee,
see that.
walked out. Yeah, yeah. So if ever you get sort of, oh, are you so and so, so and so? You just say yeah. Just say yeah. So are we showing no show reel or what, Mike? What are we doing?
Yeah, you've just been banging on about some fucking trip to Costa for 10
Oh,
minutes.
what's your
so
language? You've
I'm
got
sat
kids'
waiting.
bike outside.
So this is Emma's showreel. You might recognise her from her, as we were just talking about, her many stints on Emmerdale and Corrie, of which I think there are clips in this of. So you'll be reminded of those performances. Anyway.
Hi,
Is Natalie in?
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm a friend. I've left loads of messages, been trying to get in contact with her.
I'm sorry, Natalie's gone.
What do you mean, gone?
No, isn't it?
Excuse me, don't walk away from us.
No, I'm sorry. It's just my son's through there, and he's been in there ages, and we haven't heard a thing.
Well, they often start later than they plan to.
Is there something wrong?
We just want to know what's going on.
Matty Barton, that's his name.
I'll see what I can find out.
Thank you.
Do you know where she went?
No idea. I came back an hour ago and her room was like this.
She got any family?
Not that I know of.
Please tell me that he's okay.
All right, so Matty's blood pressure dropped a little. But try not to worry. He's in specialist hands and we'll update you as soon as he's out.
So he's definitely going to be okay.
There's no reason to think otherwise at present.
How much longer will he be in there?
I honestly can't tell you. The best thing you can do is wait in the day room and I'll be in as soon as there's any news.
Thank you very much.
F is for my family, who always knew you were a waste of time. G is for the girls you kept looking at when you were with me.
H is for honestly, I didn't. After all the hassle you'd give me.
I is for impotent, couldn't get it started in bed.
J is for joking. She's joking. Can we have this argument later instead?
K is for keen to move on from that.
L is for lying when she doesn't get her own way, little brat. M is for your mother, who you've slowly become but still can't confront.
N is for nobody says that to me, you absolute ninny.
Well, he must like it. I mean, spending that much on so little material.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have.
So, who is it?
It's just a guy I met.
It's not that porter from Resource, is it?
No.
Good, he gave me the creeps. Anyway, you're dead lucky. Jeff would never buy me nice knickers.
Well, you never know. He might surprise you.
No, I'm lucky if he buys me a drink these days.
You've not seen him since the wedding.
I know, I'm kind of nervous. I just hope he doesn't regret it.
What would he have to regret?
Well, you've heard the stories. French maidens.
Wash your mouth out. John is one of the good ones because he knows how lucky he is. Especially when he sees you in that welding mask.
Experts call it the foreign language absorption process.
The great thing about the absorption process is just how immersive it is. If you want to learn Spanish, you go and live in Spain. If you want to learn Italian, you go live in Italy. If you want to learn radio, you go and live with Tony Blackburn.
There we go. That was Emma Showreel.
If anybody
I hope
saw
you all
any of
enjoyed
it.
that. If you're wondering what this is my cat who's decided that he wants to join in.
Excellent.
Say hello to Pele the dickhead. Get off.
Hello, Pele.
What's he doing?
We realised that there is a few technical issues and that you might not have been able to see all of Emma's showreel, but it does go on for a bit, to be fair. But it is very good, Emma. I guess my question, where's my list of questions to you? My list of questions is, So,
prepared.
What was the last character you played? What was the name of the last character you played?
Yasmin in a play at Harrogate Theatre. Shout out Rachel Halliwell if she's watching. I don't know if she is.
Hi, Rach.
Yeah, it was her play called Connection at Harrogate Theatre. It was really good. It was really good fun. The cast were amazing and lovely, and I had a blast. It was nice to be in a theatre as well, which doesn't always happen. So yeah, it was really cool. Made lots of nice friends.
Good. And Harrogate Theatre have a big shout out to Harrogate Theatre. Actually,
yes, definitely.
They've done quite a lot over the last sort of 12 months, if not more. I don't know. for sort of local artists and things. So big thumbs up for Harrogate Theatre.
Yeah.
Support your local theatre, especially at this time.
Definitely.
Because it's the local regional theatres that are going to be hit hardest. Cool. Okay. I'll be back to you in a moment, Emma.
Cool.
Mike, not Mike. Steve. Hiya,
Hello.
Steve.
She looked good. Right. I'll tell you what I think happened, right? You got her up the duff and you did a runner, didn't you? Why'd you think I've not been in contact these past 20 years?
I wouldn't lie about this. Not now. I hope you find out where you're from. Nice to meet you, love.
We checked the statements you gave us and the items purchased. As you can see, this is the last place you used the card. And it's also the address where the goods have been sent to.
The cafe? All of them?
Correct. We're pretty certain that's where it went missing.
What the hell do you think you're doing? I thought you wanted me to fight for it. Fight for it, not blow it out the water. I almost had her there.
Never satisfied, are you? I'm exhausted. My back's destroyed. The accident.
Come on, let's talk about this outside.
I want to see Mum.
Meet Poison Pete. He's a filthy little runt who takes keeping himself to himself to new heights, and yeah, you guessed it. He poisons people. Nobody really likes Pete because he's got a vocabulary of about 12 words, and well, look at him.
So it'll be just us 5.
Fuck me, it speaks. Actually, it'll be the 4 of you. Jesus Christ, Pete!
You're my dream assignment, Fallon. Let's be having you.
Come on, then.
Hello, mate. So you managed to get the Skype working?
Yeah, it's going through the phone at the moment. And I have to say, despite these technical difficulties, which is inevitable, I do think it's great what you guys are doing, because obviously we are in this weird and uncharted water, and I do think there's like a collective anxiety going on, and I think people who have not necessarily been used to being on their own are suddenly faced with this isolation, and for some I think that's quite a scary prospect. I think being actors, we're used to uncertainty, frankly, and I think a lot of people necessarily aren't, so maybe we're a bit more well equipped to deal with that to some degree. So I think what we're seeing amongst all these creative community is really quite heartening, because you've got writers, you've got actors, directors, casting directors. They've all lost jobs. They're all facing that uncertainty financially and otherwise, but everyone's come together. So I think the positivity that's coming out of this bleak scenario is really very encouraging. And there are loads of platforms online which are enabling creatives to continue to create and have a voice, and that's what you guys are doing. So, as I say, despite the teething issues, it's still great. It's good to have a platform, so you're making a difference, you know.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. I'm going to come back to something that you just said in a minute. Yeah, look, you know, I think it's hard, isn't it? And we just want to have a chat. And if we can make this thing work so we can just have a chat and sort of, whether it's entertaining or not, you know, I don't know. Whether anybody's interested, who cares? But yeah, it is interesting. 2 things that you've just said. One thing is that there are loads of, like, some parts of the industry have sort of they've mobilized and started doing stuff. There is a little voice in my mind that says, do you want to do another monologue, Steve? There's a lot of monologue competitions, isn't there?
There are, but you know, I think actors without a platform, if you're able to write, if you're able to perform, why not? I think it's giving people a good platform. And I think, you know, it's just a collective collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be 1 or 2 out there possibly that it's aimed at promotion or whatever, but I think generally speaking, it's just often to cheer people up. It depends on the topic, I suppose, as well. There's a lot of humour going out at the moment. I think that's really quite important at this point.
I read something on Twitter earlier on from somebody who said, I've got a big announcement to make at 8 o'clock. And when 8 o'clock came along, they went, I am not going live on YouTube tonight. Suggesting that everybody was going live on YouTube. In fact, in many respects, I'm amazed that YouTube and the Skype and all the streaming platforms are even working now. But do you know what? Thank God they are, because we wouldn't be able to talk like we are doing, and I think that's great. Now,
that's why this is all a little bit technical difficulties and stuff, in it. It's because everybody's doing it. It's nothing to do with me or my internet connection whatsoever.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Obviously.
You keep telling us that, and we'll certainly keep believing it. However, there is a good point, and I'm going to come back to you in a moment, Steve. And then I'm going to leave Mike to it for a little while, because I need to go get another drink. But there are a lot of things that, as actors, I think, especially actors, but I'm sure there are other things in sort of the music industry and stuff, where we're constantly sort of shelling money out for headshots, for Spotlight, for Equity. Oh, big shout to Spotlight, by the way, because to be fair to them, they have suspended subscriptions, or they have extended. If you pay yearly like I do, they've extended it for 3 months. So big shout to them. Equity as well today. I had a conversation with somebody, and they said that although they haven't suspended sub fees to Equity, if you are having trouble paying them, just bob them an email and they'll help you out with that as well. So fair play to Equity. But there are lots of things that we have to pay for, and often these things you can just find for free on the internet, and it really sort of it winds me up. And it's almost like people are sort of going, oh, in order to stay connected, we have to sort of pay for things. We have to pay each other, or we have to do something. When actually, one of the really good things that's come out of this whole thing, as you started to say, Steve, I think, was that people have realised we can just chat. And people chat, and they'll chat for free. They're not asking for anything. And I think that's really important. And while we're on that subject, I'm going to come back to you in a second, Steve. I have no idea whether this is going to work, Mike, but I'm going to share my screen. Can I even do that?
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Just throw something else into it, mate.
No. There's a couple of things I wanted to just show everybody. So this is the Spotlight website, right? And you'll see I'm not signed in. So it's not members. And on news and advice, there are so many videos, lighting and sound for self-taping, setting up. There's career advice for people that have just left drama school, audition insights from casting director Irene Cotton, and there's loads of stuff like that for free. You don't have to pay for any of it. It's right there. It's right there. And another one was on Spotlight. There are a load of actors. You call them celebrity actors, whatever. But there's John Sim there, and they're all talking about what it's like for them as an actor and advice for other actors. And there's loads of those under industry. So get on Spotlight. Have a look at some of those videos. It's free. It's free, and there's loads of really good advice. So I just wanted to point that out. While I've got the screen shares on, this was a list. I don't know where I found this. This was a list. I don't know where I found it. It was somebody on Twitter. I should have written it down. I should have written it down. Said thank you to them, and I've forgotten. But these are the BBC. It's the writing stuff. It's the writing. There's loads of writing stuff out there. There's loads of writing stuff out there. Putting monologues in and short scripts. But I'll put that on. But I'll put that on Twitter feed. So I just wanted to share that as well. So I just wanted to share. Now I'm going to get rid of that because how do I do that? Stop sharing. Think I might now be back.
You are.
Good. So, Steve, the important thing that's on everyone's mind is, how are you doing with technology?
Well, thankfully, I've got a good friend who's enabling me with that. Yeah, my technological brain is not fabulous, really.
Well,
it's quite challenging.
You're looking good and sounding good, Steve, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, from what I can say, I look like an Oompa Loompa. I look very orange.
Well, as Emma said, it looked like you had a nice tan. So have you been out in the garden?
Well, oddly enough, I have, because usually I would go to the gym, but obviously with that being closed, I decided to go and have a little workout in the garden, and I put some tunes on shuffle, and I was just making up a routine, and the Scissor Sisters came on, Take Your Mama Out, and I started galloping. So galloping to the Scissor Sisters, and
Right.
I noticed there was some neighbours looking out the window. What is he doing? So yeah, galloping is quite good for getting the old endorphins going. Actually,
Oh, good.
Through Scissor Sisters.
Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you was, what was the last character you played, and what was the name of the last character?
The name of the last character was actually called The Director, and it was in a play called Catastrophe, Samuel Beckett play, and it was part of a trilogy which was done by Angel Theatre Company, and it was put on at the Brockley Jack Theatre. John Patterson runs the Angel Theatre Company, and he put on a Beckett trio. We had a sellout show in Brockley for 2 weeks, which was great, and the timing, fortunate, I suppose, for us, because just after that was obviously, when everything was shut. So yeah, that was quite a successful run, actually. It's great theatre company, name check there.
And tell us a little bit about this character, because I thought he was quite fascinating.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with that play, Catastrophe. It's a very short play. There was a version of it where I think it was Harold Pinter played the director. But essentially what you've got is it opens with a live statue, if you like. So there's a guy standing on a plinth, and then we see a lady, an assistant director in a lab coat taking notes. And the director is barking orders at this assistant to move his hands in certain ways or whatever until he's pleased with how this particular life statue looks. And Beckett does actually stipulate in the script that this particular character wears a fur coat. So I was, in fact, wearing a fur coat, which was actually owned by John, the director, and I got really quite attached to it. I wanted to keep hold of it.
I can see you in a fur coat. I think that would, that's the...
It wasn't real fur, incidentally, just to...
Of course. Of course. Yeah, of course not. Of course.
I didn't think I could rock the fur, but apparently it worked. So, but it was great, actually. Beckett is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. It's quite absurdist, as you know. But it was great. It was a really good trilogy or trio.
Excellent.
So stuff.
And I would like, if you wouldn't mind, tell us briefly about Brookie. Tell us about Brookie.
Gosh, Brookie. Do you know what? That almost seems like a different person. Well, obviously, we're talking mid-90s when I was doing that. I'd actually auditioned for it, and then I didn't actually consider that I'd get it. And I went off to visit a friend of mine in Brazil, of all places. And then I got a call from my agent at the time saying...
Whoa, hang on a minute. You went to Brazil to see a friend of yours?
Yeah, my mate was living out in Brazil.
Okay.
And yeah, so I went to Brazil, and I got there. I was there for a few days, and I got a call. Can you come back to England? Because you've got a recall. I said, well, how certain is it? I said, I don't know. Well, it's just almost a formality. They just want another meeting, really. So I travelled through several time zones. Ended up, I think, for about 12 hours at JFK. And I remember at the time, I had like a little cassette, the little Walkman. I had a cassette player, and the only thing that was on it was REM. I was listening to REM while it was snowing outside in New York. And anyway, yeah, I got back to London, got on a train, got off at Lime Street, got a bus to Chilwell, and did the second audition, and fortunately got the gig, and it was great because at the time it was all shot on one camera, single, so it was really good sort of technique and a learning curve for everything to do with film or whatever. And as we know, it was a breeding ground for a lot of great talent. So it's amazing directors, writers, actors that have all come out of that, and it was a great platform. And I think at the time they were dealing with very, very gritty and current storylines, and it was cutting edge stuff. I think we don't necessarily remember that particularly now, or people that weren't of that generation maybe not be aware of it, but it was cutting edge stuff. But just from a sort of career point of view, it was obviously great for me to get that gig. So I stayed in that for a couple of years, and of course met Lewis there, who I understand that you may well be bringing on at some point.
Oh, it's almost like we're beautifully segueing into future episodes. Yes, Lewis Emmerich is coming along for a chat as well, and yeah, of course. So you were on at the same. You were in Brookie at the same time as Lewis.
I was. Lewis was obviously in it a lot longer than I was, but we were in it at the same time. I think we had a scene with Lewis and Mickey Stark at one point where I was trying to steal Sinbad's window cleaning round.
As you do.
I remember Mickey showing me how to use a chamois leather. So off camera, I think Lewis and myself were whipping each other with a chamois.
Okay, something that's been repeated every year since.
Well, we did do the full Monty tour. The
True. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, right. Okay, so I've got. I realise we're. What time is it? Quarter to 9. I've got a couple of questions for both of you. So we'll start with you, Emma, first. Will you give me a song for our isolation playlist?
Ooh. Okay. Can I give you I'm going to give you one of my favorite bands, Haim.
Yeah.
And Forever. Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Well, it was either that or Rick Astley, Together Forever. So
just with the word forever in, basically.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Steve.
Well, the theme of isolation, I would say, "Don't Stand So Close to Me" by The Police.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Or maybe "On My Own" by Patti LaBelle.
No, whoa! You can't be taking all the isolation songs up. "Don't Stand So Close to Me" is the one that we're having. Excellent. Go on.
I've got another one. Spice Girls.
No.
Who do you think you are? But only because it's a good dancing around the liver today.
Okay. Well, while I write that down, tell me more about that.
Well, I've just gone a bit stir crazy today, so I've just been going a bit bonkers around the living room.
Excellent.
And I just had my partner John just staring at me like I've lost the plot, but I was quite enjoying myself. So
I think that's totally fair enough. Totally fair.
Although this morning, Steve, you were saying you were galloping in your garden. Yeah. So I did Joe Wicks's body coach workout today.
Oh, yeah.
And not having any children of my own, I was bunny hopping across the living room.
Do you know what's quite funny about that is and this must have been going on in every household this morning. As soon as we started jumping around, my 14-year-old son, he went, "Oh, if somebody was looking through the window now and watching us do this, oh, how embarrassing is this?"
I think everybody was doing it.
Everyone's doing it, isn't they? Absolutely.
Yeah. A million people nearly doing it.
It's really hard. It was so hard.
Do you know what? I genuinely, I'm like, I'm aching like from head to foot. And I didn't want to tell the kids this morning, but I was like, while you're doing this bit, I'm going to make your breakfast. It was only because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It's really hard.
So hard. I don't remember PE being that hard.
No.
ever.
Okay, good. So I've changed yours, Emma, to who do you think you are?
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So let's have from both of you, please, something to watch, a box set.
Oh, I just finished watching. Well, okay, so I've just finished watching Giri Haji, which was amazing.
On the BBC, on the
Oh my
iPlayer.
God, on iPlayer, it was so good, so good. But my ultimate at the moment is Schitt's Creek.
Oh, really?
I'm literally rewatching it because I love it that much.
Fair enough.
Waiting for series 6 to come on, I think it is.
Fair enough. Steve?
I'm new to Netflix. I've just recently signed up, and I'm looking for recommendations, actually. But one of the things I watched recently was The Stranger by Harlan Coben. I'd actually read the book, I think, a while ago, so I was curious about it. But yeah, I thought that was really good. So that was my sort of last binge watch. But yeah, if you've got any recommendations, I'd be interested to hear.
Brilliant. Okay. So a question to you, Steve, is what I can't remember. This is down somewhere. What's the actual? Oh, what's the most coronavirus thing that you've done since this whole thing started?
The most coronavirus thing I got. Well, I think it was possibly not getting too near my neighbour's fence while I was galloping.
I can understand that. When I went to the shop today, I did two things. First of all, like you were saying, we had to queue to get in. So we were sort of all, but the guy behind me, right, was getting really close, and it was sort of like, and I'm sort of looking over my shoulder as if to say, "Back off, man, back off." Right? There was that thing, and then when I got in, I said to the woman in the Asda. I'm Northern, so it's obviously at the Asda. So I went in to the Asda, and I said, because I was thinking to myself, they might only let me have one loaf of bread. I've got a family, one loaf of bread and one milk. And so I thought, well, if I get one of those, you know, those things where you scan as you're going round, so you don't have to go to the check. I thought they won't check my bag. Anyway, so I'm putting everything in the thing, and I got to the checkout, and she went, "How many milk have you got?" I said, 2. All right. She said, how much bread have you got? I said, 2. And she said, "Oh, that's all right." So it was fine. It was fine. But I think that's the most coronavirus thing I've done. Also trying to cheat the supermarkets.
I have literally disinfected the whole flat today. Like I've the door handles, the cupboard handles, the toilet. I've done everything. Apart from the floor, which someone pointed out to me, and I was like, I'm not doing the floor. No one licked it. So I'm not doing that. Yeah, I went a bit crazy with the flat today, with the bleach. So it's definitely clean.
But it's a good stink. I also discovered, well, actually before the coronavirus, but it's wicked now, that the Dettol antiseptic, is it antiseptic? I don't know what it, like a spray thing. So
Yeah.
rather than yeah, what's that?
Can I share my most coronavirus?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, go on.
Because I was kind of thinking, I'll let him do this last question because he wants to go get a beer, and then so I'm sat here thinking, right, what's my next questions and all that kind of stuff, and then you just carried on talking. As usual.
Yeah, go on.
My most coronavirus thing was this would have been Saturday. A post went up on Facebook from our local Toby Carvery saying we need to sell all our stock, come and get it. So I jumped in the car and was the first person at an empty Toby Carvery being given the biggest joint of beef I've ever seen in my life, which cost me 20 quid. It was like some sort of Sunday dinner Argos, because you go and there was a little counter and there was somebody that stood there and they took my order, they disappeared to the back, and the counter with the trolley went, there you go. It was like Argos but for like roast beef. It was amazing. 2 litres of cream, 2 litres of cream, and then for 4 days everything we ate had cream in it. I was drinking creamy coffees, I was like making scrambled egg with cream, we did bread and butter pudding with a Christmas panettone, all sorts of stuff, and it was great. And then literally sold out like that, and I was amazed that I wasn't like a millionth in line, that I was first, because I thought everybody he's just going to go and... Can you imagine them big turkeys? Trying to stick one of them in your domestic cooker. But yeah, so I think that's the most coronavirus thing. But I was a little bit disappointed though, because Miller and Carter did the same thing the day after, and I'm like, I spent 35 quid at Toby. I can't be going for a Chateaubriand at 16 quid.
Brilliant. Thanks for that contribution. It was worth waiting for. That's what I would say. So a couple of Netflix recommendations for you, Steve, from Ben, which is Call My Agent.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
The French comedy drama. I don't know French. What's that in French? Is that 10%? What's that?
10%.
That's 10%.
Yeah, like the
Oh, I
connection.
see. So it's the same thing, is it?
Yeah, same thing. It's amazing. It is it's subtitled, but it's hilarious.
Read and watch. Is that...
Yeah, you can do that though. You'll be fine.
I can do that. Oh, do you know who's just joined us, Steve?
Go on.
Andrew Ashford.
Oh, Mr. Ashford.
Hello, Mr. Ashford. Mr. Ashford, Mr. Ashford, who was in the middle, who's going to come on, actually. He said he's going to come on, provided we carry on doing this, obviously. He's going to come on. He was playing Jeeves, wasn't he? Jeeves and Worcester. And sadly, that got cancelled. So, hello, Andrew. Bless your heart for joining us.
Full Monty colleagues.
One of our full Monty colleagues. Since you've been inside and you haven't gone out other than just for a little bit of exercise, how many units of alcohol have you had?
Well, oddly enough, I know I tweeted about this, but I don't know if you can see that. I'm on the Real Ale.
Proper job.
And, well, there you go. I mean, everyone always tells us that we should get one, shouldn't we? So that's what I'm doing. I've got a proper job. Yeah, so in terms of units, probably too much. I've been quaffing wine, but I'm off the wine at the moment in favour of the Real Ale.
Okay, all right. Excellent.
I don't know, how much is in a unit? How much is a unit? I don't know. A lot.
I want one of them. Oh, what is it? That was my son. I just texted him to get me another drink. So just very quickly, Steve, why are you off the wine?
Tonight, I mean, because I had some the other night. I just fancied a change.
So what you saying is you're hungover?
Not particularly. No, to be fair, it's balanced because I am galloping, as I say. So
yes, that's
as long as I can gallop in my garden, I feel like I've earned the right to just have a cheeky tipple in the evening.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Jennifer said that she was the same as you, Emma, today, putting disinfectant everywhere. And she also lives across the road from a supermarket and watched people, watching too many people, just watching them go in and out of the supermarket. Like
time.
And what they're bringing in and out, like the coronavirus police. Fair play, Jenny. You're really good with your alcohol, aren't you, Emma? What have you?
I don't really drink that much. But if you wanted to ask me about how much tea I've drunk since I've been in isolation, well, this is my average size mug.
There's nothing to compare that to, though, because you're really tiny. So
look at the size of my head.
It's a big mug.
It's a big mug, and I'm probably getting through about 10 of these a day. So a lot of tea. Yeah.
Mike, how many teas are you drinking? Because you don't drink either, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't drink. I've not drunk in about 2.5 years. So I'm on. I've recently reintroduced caffeine into my diet. I skipped that for a couple of years. And then I had like a couple of cans of Coke because they were on offer at own bargains. And now I've become obsessed with caffeine again, so I'm back on caffeine. I don't do too bad. I have one in the morning, and then I have one like after tea or something if we've got some cake, and the rest of it is just kind of water and juice. But the fact that I'm nearly 15 stone, you'd think I don't drink alcohol and I'm drinking loads of water, and I've been out for a 3k walk today, but it's that massive thing of beef, isn't it?
And cream. And cream.
2 litres of cream.
I asked him for onions, and the dude came out with like in his apron, like 10 of them just loose, and I'm like, how much are they? And he's like, I don't know, 10p. All right, yeah. It was so bizarre. Anyway, enough of that.
Just getting slightly serious for a moment. What do you think the industry is going to look like off the back of this?
A lot healthier. I think, as I was saying before, I think that all the creative community has had to come together, and they've really collaborated. As I say, that everyone from writers, directors, actors, performers, singers, whatever it is, everyone's come together, and I think it's almost like all this isolation has brought everybody together. So through that distance, we're together, and I think there's a lot of creative stuff happening online. Some of it may be a bit hit and miss. It doesn't matter. Some of it's experimental. It's fine. So I think it's going to be in a really healthy place, actually, as is society as a whole, hopefully. Because I think as long as people adhere to these actual restrictions that we have at the moment, so yes, stop going out, stop going on the tube. There's still ridiculous, amounts of people from what we can see. So as long as people adhere to that, I think we will probably get to the end of this year and look back and go, do you remember when we were all indoors for ages? Do you remember that? And we'll be chatting about it in those terms. And we'll have stories to tell. But I think the creative industry is going to be a lot stronger and a lot more collaborative. And yeah, I just think it'll be in a very healthy place. It's already starting to be healthy in extremely difficult times. So yeah, I'm encouraged by it, and I think it's positive.
I was. I think you're right, and I hope you're right. I was on. It started off by saying loads of people charging for stuff, and like casting directors workshops and stuff that we always sort of have to pay for as actors, and blah 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 blah. And somebody had tweeted, and I can't remember what it's called now. There was a casting director who was doing something on an audition website, a free.
We audition. WeAudition.com.
We audition. That's it. Of course, the trouble, and I thought, oh well, I'll just join it and see what it is. I'd know if she'd have picked me, I would have sort of gone, because I don't know what you're supposed to do at that point. But when I looked down the list of people that were there, it was there were like thousands of people that had logged on and were just waiting. And it sort of makes you, it reminds you, A, that there's loads of us out there in exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
And B, that it all just feels a bit desperate at times, doesn't it? And we all fall into that. Yeah. And I just wish there was a way of it not being like that. I know it will be, and to some degree, there's nothing wrong with that. But it just, you know what I mean? That sort of that desperation that we get to. I don't know. Emma?
I think. Well, I mean, I did try and get onto one of those Spotlight one-to-ones, and honestly, it was like trying to get a Glastonbury ticket. I was on it, a good 5 minutes before I clicked, and it all went. So there was no chance of even getting a one-to-one. But I don't know, I'm chatting with a lot of people who are sort of taking this time more to just be happy with themselves and maybe not do something creative. And actually, I'm quite enjoying that. Not that there's anything wrong with doing creative things if that's what you want to do, but I'm quite enjoying not having to stress about being an actor at the moment. I'm finding it quite freeing, and I'm doing my Spanish, which I haven't done in ages. I'm doing loads of stuff, and I'm waking up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I'm finding things to do, and I'm just not worried about acting, and it's really nice. So I don't know. I'm hoping to take that mentality back into the industry when we are eventually allowed out of the house, and I'm kind of hoping I just won't take it not take it seriously, but not stress about things as much, because, like you say, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of actors, and I just don't want to get into that queue with everybody. Yeah. I don't want to do it, and I'm quite happy not doing it and chilling out. I want to chill out mentally as well.
It's like we're being forced to go back to a basic lifestyle, which I think is great, because people are chatting again, and you know, faced with yourself or whatever, then you have to confront what's real, what isn't.
I find that frightening, Steve. I don't want to be confronted with what I am.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic, isn't it? But no, the point is that it's brought people together in a very sort of basic way. It's going back to what it should be about in many ways before everything just got crazy. So I think there's a lot of positivity to come out of it, frankly.
Yeah. I hope so. And to be fair, if nothing else, if it means that you're going to continue to create funny little songs and put them out on Twitter, then long may it continue, as far as I'm concerned. Because I think Mike has got one of your songs lined up for us to finish with.
Yeah.
Which was covered by somebody in, was it Toronto or Canada or something somewhere?
Oh, I've got a friend out in Sweden, and they sent me a video of them singing out there and played a little bit of piano as well. So yeah, it's gone a bit crazy.
Wow.
Last question, because I'm aware we've been on for nearly an hour, and I could just sit here and get drunk and talk all night, but I'm not going to do that. Did you have a holiday booked, and have you had to cancel it? Steve?
I had a little mini break booked to Portugal. I was due to go out tomorrow, in fact, for a weekend to Porto. That's been cancelled. So yeah, but in the whole scheme of things, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Emma?
We were gonna book, but we had not got round to it. So in a way, it's lucky, but I'm also really sad. Although it's March and it's hot outside.
Really
so I'm thinking we're either going to be really unlucky and get a really hot summer and we all have to be inside, which would be just the cherry out, and it'll be great. So that's what I'm hoping for. Because normally it's snowing in March. And
it's often snowing. My birthday's in February, and it's often snowing on my birthday.
Well, I just turned 30 2 weeks ago, and it normally snows on my birthday. Also managed to get that one just in time because it's my friend's 30th today, and so we've all been FaceTiming because, yeah. Anyway, c'est la vie.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
My final question to you is to you, Emma, first. How many sitcoms have you written?
None.
You haven't written any sitcoms since we've been isolated?
No, but I can say more Spanish sentences. So I feel like that is way more useful.
Fair enough. Stephen, how many sitcoms have you been isolated?
Oh gosh, I've lost count. Now, I've written a few sketches. Not a sitcom. Maybe it'll become a sitcom. I don't know. A few sketches.
Of course it will. There'll be more sitcoms sent to the BBC than ever before. Excellent. Mike, have you got anything to add before we sign off?
I don't know. I mean, everything has been quite I've enjoyed just kind of sitting here and listening to a lot of these stories. It's been nice for the first one. A lot of people might have noticed on the stream a lot of resizing when it came to some of the when some of the people were chatting. I don't know what was going on, but basically automatically, I think it might be due to signal strength or whether through how we're hosting the call, that people just kept getting bigger and smaller. So I was frantically resizing people and doing all that kind of live switching stuff, which is quite handy. That I spent a year teaching that at Kappa College, so and I've been kind of going back to a lot of that knowledge which I've inherited. This community that we're in, this creative community, the wider creative community, seems to be doing a lot of nice things with each other, and it's great to see. And one of the things that I really enjoyed in the first couple of days was I have a huge admiration for Paloma Faith. She's one of my kind of heroines, my idols, and she was doing just every night, just on Instagram Live, her singing. She'd get some of her backing band on the other, and they would call in together, and one dude would play the piano and somebody else would do backing singing and stuff. It was great, and it's that kind of stuff which you don't normally get because everybody's too busy, because you know you've got an album to promote, or you've got the second series of your hit show to promote. So it's really nice to get that going on. And so yeah, weirdly I'm quite enjoying this, but as somebody who's had crippling social anxiety for so long, I feel like I've been training for this my entire life, to sit at home and watch TV and all those kind of things. So yeah,
there is. Go on. Sorry, Emma. Go on.
I feel like it's just proved that we're all just humans, and it doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity or not. Anyone can get coronavirus each other, just be kind and help each other. I think it's kind of proved to me that it doesn't really matter who you are. So everyone's on an equal field.
Did you hear that Prince Charles has been tested positive?
Yeah.
Conversation that should he unfortunately come a cropper to the virus, what would that?
Which we hope he does. Obviously.
Rather unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we were thinking, what would happen then to Ascension? Is that the right word? I don't know. To whoever's next, because isn't Anne like the second oldest child of Elizabeth's? So then wouldn't we be faced with a future where Mike Tyndall could be king?
Steve, you're going to be playing us out with a lovely little ditty that you put out on social media. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you'll be back, that we haven't scared you off. Tell your friends. We'll be back on Monday, and even if nobody turns up, we'll just talk shit with some other people.
Yeah, don't forget, if you wouldn't mind, to like and subscribe. It does help us a little bit. It helps us with YouTube's algorithm and stuff like that. So please do that. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And so shall I just drop it in and we'll finish?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Let's do that.
Thanks very much. Everybody wave goodbye.
Bye.
Brady Bunch. Adios.
Amigos.
And we'll see you live 8 o'clock Monday on YouTube. Hopefully if we get 100 subscribers, the youtube.com/Totally Show Reels will be ours, and you can come along to that. Until then, adios from the bunker.
How are you all doing in this strange time? I think we need some love sharing. A friend of mine wrote this beautiful little ballad, Steve. Hope you enjoy it. I've got a rubber ding dong, a dong that's made of rubber. I've got a rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong ding, 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 rubber ding dong. She's got a rubber ding dong, a dong that's made of rubber. She's got a rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong ding, 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 rubber ding dong, We've got a rubber ding dong, a dong that's made of rubber. We've got a rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong ding, 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 rubber ding dong ding. We've got a rubber ding dong, a dong that's made of rubber. We've got a rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong ding, 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 rubber ding dong ding. You've got a rubber ding dong, a dong that's made of rubber. You've got a rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong, rubber ding dong ding, 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 rubber ding dong. Thank you. Stay well.